Hey there, Julia here. Today, it's the first currently inked rotation of the year in the new ink journal. Happy New Year. If you have not seen the setup for this journal, I do have a video setting it up, talking about wish lists, goals for the new year when it comes to the hobby, and the spreads I've set up initially for this ink journal. I'm also excited because today we'll have our first members choice pen and ink. But for now, let's start with the first pen and ink pair, which is this one. This is the Delta Duna Tulipani, which is an Atlas Stationers exclusive. It is gorgeous. I got it in the Atlas Experienced pen sale, which they do once a month. And on the topic of Atlas, right now they are restructuring their affiliate program. So at least for the first quarter of the year, codes are disabled, affiliate links are disabled. So sorry about that, but I will link as much as I can down below still. And I'll keep you updated when and if I have some new information, a new code, a new link, or the same old, I'll let you know. But the Delta Duna in the Tulipani color. And I have not inked this yet, but it just felt very wintry to me, like sludgy snow. And I like that I can match this up with a few colors and have it be a little matchy-matchy. So we have some greens, like a green teal in there, some yellow gold, of course some grays, even like dusty blues and dusty pinks. Whoop, here's the dusty pink. Some pinks in here. So it's very subtle, but I think very wintry and very beautiful. The nib that I've installed on here is a fun one. This is the Beak Point by Matthew Chen. So it definitely looks like I dropped it on the nib and it bent, but this is intentional. The writing side is gonna look like a fine medium. And then when you flip it over, you get really thick lines, and that's called a fude when it has that little curve up. And this is a piston fill. You see the little ink window here. And yeah, this is my first Delta pen. It reminds me of the Leonardo Momento pens quite a bit, both in look and the way that they feel to write with. So just a note there if you have never used the Delta Duna. I haven't inked with, I think I grabbed this at the San Francisco Pen Show in 2025. This is Kobe number 53 Katano Pearl Silver. I'm gonna need this first ink journal experience to go well, so cross your fingers for no feathering, no crazy shenanigans, good energy. Here is the reverse if you're curious. I will not have enough room to do anything substantial in these grid boxes. Yeah, so really thick and expressive on the reverse side. I do really like this ink. We get some very subtle shading. It does lean a little bit blue, silver, and it really reminds me of the cap here. So I just think it's a really good match. This next pen I'm very excited to share. It has its own new pen day story time video, and I'll leave that for you up here. But it is on the girl pen list and it is acquired. This is the Aurora 88 Volterra. It is gorgeous, and special thanks to Brienne for being honest and selling this to me after so much heartbreak and lots of catch and release, but not really fully catch. It is here, and look how beautiful this pen is. This is also my first Aurora pen. So I'm excited to try some new brands this month. New pens that I've never had inked or tried at all. Love the cigar shape, love the chatoyance in here and all these like little turquoise and sea foam pieces that pop up as the light hits it. It's so pretty. This has a fine nib. It's also a piston fill and has a nifty little ink window there. And this like rose, like bronze. I think it says rose gold, but it looks very brown gold, like bronzy to me. Anyways, I have this inked up with Nagasawa and Tono and Limbs collab. This is called Mushroom Cream. Oh, it has shimmer. I did not know that. Doesn't matter. I don't think I shook it or stirred it up or anything when I filled the pen because I didn't even know it had shimmer, but lo and behold. Anyways, I think that this was a Tips Tokyo International Pen Show exclusive, but I'm not 100% on that. Either way, this is a gorgeous ink. There's something about this color that's so calming, but it's legible. I love it. And the pen writing with it, we are getting a little bit of feedback, not a lot. This is an 18 karat gold nib. It looks like we're slowly getting some undertones, some pink, and even some like blue-green haloing in there. So we'll see what that ends up looking like, but I think it matches really well with the Aurora here. The next pen is also a newbie, and I got it at the Tokyo International Pen Show. This is by Platinum. This is their Century 3776 model in the Ayame colorway, which is a beautiful iris. So Ayame means iris, and this is just the most subtle, light, lilac-y color. It's so gorgeous. And then our finials are a little bit brighter. They are, I would say, like a white, like a milky white. And you have this subtle glitter throughout. Cute little umbrella on the nib here. So yeah, I am very excited about this one. I have ink all over my finger now because I was showing you that nib. But I have this inked up with a new ink as well. Well, it's been here for a while, but I haven't put it in the pen yet. This is Van Diemen's Last Light. It's a very cool like dual tone chromo shading ink, and it's from their Natura Dualis collection. So in this we'll get beautiful purples and pinks. It looks so dreamy. This does have a medium nib. I'm not sure if I've set that. And I was a little nervous about putting this ink in this pen because the ink seems so like light, like watery even. And so I was thinking that it was not going to be legible, but it's looking really good in this pen. Oh my gosh, just look at all that coming out. Next up is a pen that I've had inked up briefly, but never for an entire rotation. And I just wanted to test it out against some things that I've heard, and so I can make a more definite opinion on it. This is the Cross Bailey in the transparent pink color. And I did a little short on this of my first impressions and just wanted to see some things from the comments. I think someone mentioned that their pen was leaking and that the international standard converter did not fit in here. However, I got it to fit pretty snugly. It's not coming out. I haven't had any issues with it leaking or anything. I will say I have a little box of converters that I think are all international standard, but they all didn't fit. It was very odd. I will say that the Schmidt converters, like this is an extra long converter. It comes in Banus, a lot of the maker pens, it fits in there snugly. I heard it snap, so it does work. And then I'm very interested about this grip section. I got a comment about someone saying that theirs cracked pretty quickly. So I definitely want to test that out and like actually use the pen and see if I have any issues with that. But so far so good. It's a pretty affordable pen, entry level for Cross. This is my only Cross pen, so here's another brand. We have Delta, Aurora, now Cross, that I haven't had in a rotation before, so excited about this. It has an extra fine nib and it is inked up with Diamine blush from the 2025 Inkvent calendar. Blush was definitely one of my favorites from the Inkvent calendar. Which is funny because it is like, it's pink, but there's something just a little muted, a little dusty, like the slightest bit. And I don't know, I just thought that it was unique and I didn't have anything else like it in my collection. It's coming off a little bright on camera. Lovely writer. I will say that we are getting some feedback here, which is totally fine. However, whenever I first inked this for my first impressions, I inked it up with Robert Oster Copper. And with that being a wetter ink, apparently, we got a much smoother experience. So as I'm sure you know, ink does matter when it comes to writing experience. I'm gonna hop over here, but man, it would be cool. I might do like a little gradient of the palette down here since I have some room. That might be fun. All right, the next pen and ink pair that I have, this was a Grail pen for last year as well. I got it secondhand for a pretty good deal. It is the Pilot Vanishing Point or Capless in the silver stripe. And I wanted to track this one down after I got the gold stripe, which is an Atoya, like a Japanese exclusive. So I just wanted to have the silver and the gold, and they look so pretty together. But I have Kirk Spears Imperial nib grind on this one, which is one of my favorite grinds. Yes, you can get grinds on a Vanishing Point. And I have inked up in here Deception Pass by the Wet Pen. I love these inks. I've never had this one in a pen though. I'm mostly interested to see what color it's going to be on this paper, just because there's so much variation with some of these wet pen inks that the paper matters so much, because on some papers this ink looks blue, like a dark denim-y blue, and on some papers it looks green. Now, some papers you get a mix, so let's see what we get here. I don't even want to speak on it while it's wet, because I do see like the green undertones peeking through. Okay, and with our Imperial, if you haven't seen this nib grind yet, you get a sort of stub-like cursive italic on the writing side, so thick downstrokes, thin cross strokes. But on the reverse side, you get sort of a broad. In this case, I didn't want it super broad, but it's a thicker reverse. Hopefully that's helpful. I do have a couple of videos actually on custom nib grinds and looking at those up close. Wow. Yes, we're gonna get some fun stuff here. I could have picked any ink with this pen and have it match, but this definitely has a wet wintry vibe to me. This next pen I got last summer while in Portugal visiting family, and I got it from this just nondescript shop that had like some office supplies, but also a very large and kind of random fountain pen section. I don't know the name of it because right above it just said office supply or stationery supply. It was just one of those where the owner lived above and you had to ring the doorbell, then they would come down and open it, and it was just this like dusty shop. And I had a good time in there, and I left with a few pens, all like really great deals. It was crazy, but this is a pen, a brand I'd never heard of. It is a brand from Spain called Enoxcrom, something along those lines. I don't know the model. I've looked for it online. I've looked up the history of the brand looking for this model or what to call it or anything, and I just haven't found much. So we're just gonna roll with it. It is very cool looking though. It looks very futuristic, but also vintage, and it's very comfortable. I like it a lot. I just noticed, I think yesterday, that I think one of these little bands are supposed to go here, but doesn't bother me. I think the nib size, yes, it is. Pretty sure it says medium on there, but this is really comfortable. Like this grip has small little indents on there, but nothing as crazy as like a Lamy Safari where it dents in a lot. This is just so subtle. And this like frosted resin, I don't know, it's very cool. So in here, a little snap cap. In here I have the ink that we made in that Celadon cat mixing video. Leave it up here, of course. And we're calling this one Taiwanese cat. I have the recipe on the vial. 8:1 Diamine Celadon cat and Robert Oster Taiwan blue. So yeah, I guess if you happen to be in Lisbon or go into Lisbon and want to know where this shop is, shoot me a message and I can kind of show you on maps where it is, hopefully. But yeah, I thought this ink mix was perfect as far as matching that dusty blue that we get on there and getting to use a custom mix in a pen. Yay, it posts perfectly. It's like designed to post, but it is quite long posted, but balanced. Ooh, if you have any information on Enoxcrom, let me know down in the comments. Always like learning about new to me brands. I'm just writing silver and slate for the color. The next pen is a new pen that I got on Christmas Eve. I got it for myself, but it was hand delivered by my pen dealer himself, Joel Hamilton, and I was so excited about this one. I did ask him about this pen and if he had it some months ago, and it's just way more pretty in person than I was expecting. But this is the Pelikan M600 in the Art Collection series. This is the Rudy Rother colorway, and y'all know I love a teal, and this is a beautiful transparent teal with some greens in here, some turquoises, some nice like red orange patterning on here, some yellow. But what got me, like, you have the vertical striping, which is really lovely and makes for a really pretty texture on here, but then you also have this diagonal shift that I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick up here, but just the way that the light hits it on the diagonal too, it just looks like it's glowing. Wow. So yeah, this is awesome. It has an extra fine nib, and I have it inked up with Birmingham Pen Company Aqueduct, which definitely hits on some of these teal notes, but on the lighter side. It's so pretty. And of course, it's a smooth, wet writer, even at an extra fine. Definitely more like a fine, which is perfect for me. Did I spell that wrong? Yep. E. The look of this combination makes me really happy. All right, let's talk Members' Choice. This is the first Members' Choice pen and ink pair. I'm still figuring out the format and the process of this, but this time I sent the Creative Circle members a link to my digital pen collection as well as my recently finished digital ink collection, and they got to choose a pen and ink and then tell me a little bit about why they made those choices. And so I ended up mixing and matching some of those requests to come up with the Members' Choice. And the idea is that they are able to get specific insight on pens, on specific inks, on specific nibs, that type of thing, and just throw some curveballs at me along the way. So for this time, the Members' Choice pen and ink pair for the pen is the Banu Euphoria in Belle Paris. Gorgeous pen. A lot of the talk in the Members' Choice space was a new start for the new year, interest in wanting to see a hand-painted pen like this one for ideas for their own projects. So this is paired up with Robert Oster Wind. Oh yeah, and even the nib is members approved. This is the fine flex or fine elastic nib because there was some interest, some curiosity around flex nibs. And funny enough, we're saying flex, and I am just going to go ahead and say it that these elastic nibs that you get on, Esterbrook's, some of the other Yovo pens, this is a Yovo fitting because with Banu pens, at least right now, if you get a stub or any of the elastic nibs, the fitting will be a Yovo unit. So you can swap these out with other Yovo nibs. But yeah, I would not call this a flex nib. We will get a little bit of variation if we apply pressure, but not really. It's basically a soft fine because it has a little more give, but I would not call this a flex or even an elastic. I think is kind of false advertising, but maybe hot take. I don't think so though. So this is our member's choice. I've actually never used Robert Oster Wind in a pen. I have used it for painting. I actually did a workshop in 2024 at the Chicago Planner Conference. And this was one of the inks that we used for that workshop and our paintings in there. But it is a gorgeous kind of blurply shifting color. Yeah, so you see it looks like a regular old fountain pen. It does not look like a fine. It looks more in line with maybe a medium, but it's just a little more wet flowing. But if we wanted to get a little line variation and push down on it, we can. But it's barely there, and I feel like you have to press down a little too much for my comfort. But yeah, we're getting some gorgeous purple undertones and the ink is changing to more of a purple hue, which will match some of the tones in here a little better. So I guess while we're waiting on this to dry, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun since I have some extra room and do like a little gradient across the bottom of the page, because why not? Okay, so we have the Delta Duna Tulipani. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it has a beat point nib and it's inked with Kobe 53 Katano Pearl Silver. Gorgeous. Then we have the Aurora 88 in Volterra, inked up with Nagasawa and Tono and Lem's Mushroom Cream. Love how we get these other colors in here, this green that kind of looks like the green that we get in here. I just think this is a beautiful match. Then we have the Platinum 3776 in the Ayame colorway, inked with Van Diemen's Last Light. Wow. We have the Cross Bailey in transparent pink with an extra fine nib, inked up with Diamine blush. What do we think? Pop over here. We have the Pilot Vanishing Point with the silver stripes, inked up with the Wet Pen Deception Pass. Really love how this turned out on this paper. It looked blue when it first went down, but now it's like mostly green with these blue halos around it. We have the Enoxcrom fountain pen in silver and slate, inked up with our custom mix Taiwanese cat. Yeah, that's very sleek. We have the Pelikan M600 in the Rudy Rother colorway. It's gorgeous, inked up with Birmingham Pen Company Aqueduct. And then finally, our member's choice for January is the Banu Euphoria in Belle Paris, inked up with Robert Oster Wind with an elastic fine nib. Look at how dreamy this ended up looking. Definitely is a great match with writing, but yeah. So there we have it. I feel like this feels very different and fresh for me and still a little bit wintry. And I'm excited about this rotation. Let me know your thoughts and what you're excited about inking up in your own rotation. Happy 2026, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And if you missed the ink journal setup and walkthrough, I'll leave that for you right here. And I will catch you all in the next one. Look at this gradient.